least, we have Farewell, My Concubine, which is a film that's been on my list for ages. This actually might make a really good double bill with Peking Opera Blues. I think he did have a Blu-ray release in the UK. I think he might have a 4K somewhere else, but the fact that Imprint Asia have stepped up, it does look incredible. And this time is the 4K edition. Incredible. There you go. Ooh, okay, so they're doing a little bit different on this one. Imprint. You get the Blu-ray there, Blu-ray in 4K. Before diving into this, I think this is quite different. I don't think this is a traditional Hong Kong film. This might be actually a China-based film, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Don't know much about it, but there you go. Yeah, looking forward to checking that one out. Hello everybody and welcome to Round Reviews, here with a physical copy review from Imprint Asia / Via Vision Entertainment from Australia, which have very generously sent me their entire fabric collection from 2026. Thank you very, very much. It is appreciated, as always, in terms of anything I do get from testers to physical copies. Exploring these early access and supporting these releases and creating some exposure is always wonderful. And like my other test reviews and physical copy reviews, I'll be diving into the feature films themselves and the special features in a pure, honest fashion. I do not discriminate. I give an honest and counting of my thoughts and impressions on the film. Sometimes it's a first time viewing, sometimes it's a second, and I will just give an honest impression from a first time perspective. And this one is definitely one I've been quite looking forward to ever since watching the Peking Opera Blues, part of the other Imprint edition they did, which I've already covered on the channel. Really enjoyed this. Thought it was excellent from Troy Hawk. And very appropriately, and for today's video, we'll be talking about Farewell, My Concubine, which is a film that I've heard for quite some time. I think it did have, I want to say, Eureka release in the UK. I think it's an older transfer. I didn't realize a lot of the history behind this in terms of being a Miramax film. At one point, I think it was Farewell to My Concubine in terms of the US release, which had about 10 minutes taken off, surprisingly. This is a 3-hour epic, quite a lengthy movie, definitely needs some time to watch this. And I think Imprint have done a really fantastic job of celebrating this film in a brand new 4K. So compared to the others, in terms of the Golden Princess Library, this doesn't have much of a competition because this is the definitive version straight off the bat. This is a brand new 4K restoration with a Blu-ray included, and some brand new special features. This is a really nice addition. I really do like the packaging. If you want to know a bit more there, here's some information. So yeah, instantly the definitive version straight away from Imprint Asia, presenting this film in a brand new 4K restoration, and it looks astonishing. It looks really good. In terms of a 3-hour kind of, slice of life, epic kind of tale, going from the 1920s all the way to the 1960s, ending of the film in the 1970s. This epic kind of Chinese / Hong Kong production film. Where My Concubine, released 1993, directed by Cheung, if I said it correctly. A director I'm not familiar with at all. I've looked at his IMDb listing, done quite a few Chinese-based historical kind of dramas, some epic kind of tales. Definitely seems to be very much an indie sort of scene. Building his way up to something like this, which got a critical acclaim, massive amount of awards, put him on the map to make some much bigger, more epic scale kind of projects for Chinese kind of cinema. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of his films. Hopefully, maybe Imprint Asia will do more of his filmography. Maybe I can try and track down some of his other ones. It tends to be the way with a lot of these kind of like Chinese productions, and similar to, I guess, Japanese or even Hong Kong cinema. They're not easy access. They're very much available in the region they're in, based in China, but finding these ones outside of the native land is quite difficult, unless like a company like Miramax, unfortunately, do pick these ones up, like they did with Hero, with Jet Li as well, another one they picked up a while back. Fortunate to check this one out alongside with the Peking Opera Blues, which makes for a wonderful double bill in terms of the overall scene of the Peking Opera, because this one was about the Peking Opera and the tale of My Farewell, My Concubine. Extraordinary. It's a real breathtaking film in terms of its production, its acting, its storytelling. It's fully kind of encount what happens in this film, or how to kind of pitch it to maybe a first-time viewer. And I think for most people that are interested in Hong Kong cinema, or a bit more interested now in the Chinese kind of side of it, in terms of their biographical and historical kind of epics. In fact, a lot of the Hong Kong actors do migrate over to that side, especially with the 1997 handover back to China. You saw a lot of these types of films, and just like Peking Opera Blues and the kind of the Samurai Revolution trilogy, there are some movies out there that are entertainment pieces. There are some movies that are biographical and historical pieces that you do need to have a little bit of research, have a bit of knowledge, or willing to kind of open yourself up to information or a time and a place, a decade, a cultural decade, and trying to understand what was going on during the time. And I think this one adds on to that kind of conversation. As mentioned, it's an experience film, but you need to kind of sit down, have 3 hours spare, which most people can. If you can watch 3 episodes of a TV show, you can do it for this. Maybe have an intermission, which I did in between. I would say this film touches upon and deals with so many different kind of ideas and themes, and it's really well crafted. It's really well executed in terms of the different generational kind of, every 10 years, 20 years that it kind of goes through, and how that impacts our characters. This big, strong point about the idea of femininity and masculinity, how that links to our main characters, being the fact that Leslie Cheung is our central main character, and we get to explore a lot of his kind of journey from a young boy leading into his kind of epic kind of, farewell, my concubine performance, and him being a very grace, very elegant, very feminine voice portraying it. And obviously during, picking up the blues for that kind of period, that only male characters can play women. It's kind of a strange thing. And that crosses this idea of sexuality, this idea of kind of being gay. And it's interesting in terms of how it approaches the material, especially when he's a kid, in terms of the first half of the film. He's a son of a prostitute that's been dumped in this kind of, I wouldn't say orphanage, but basically a Peking opera recruitment camp. And basically you're going to live and die and breathe by the rules of these very strict masters that basically want to make money off you. I'm going to feed you, I'm going to bed you, I'm going to clothe you, I'm going to do all this stuff for you. I'm making money off you, and I'm going to train you like a dog. Your only priority, your only desire in life is to basically be the best performance of the Peking opera talent that you could possibly be. And in terms of voice, stance, kind of remembering lines, and it's very hardship kind of, regulus kind of beating, and friendship groups and escaping, coming back, and this idea of having very little options of choice during a very kind of chaotic kind of period and kind of Chinese and Hong Kong kind of history. It's a very interesting kind of expression of that, and being the fact that he is a little bit feminine, and being the fact he is known and gets famous to playing the most feminist version of the character from this story, is interesting to see how that crosses between sexuality, especially with some of his intimate moments with some of the other kind of co-stars in the film. And obviously very, very appropriate, being the fact that Leslie Cheung in real life was a gay actor, a struggling gay actor within the Hong Kong industry, done some wonderful projects with Wong Kar-wai, which I absolutely love, in terms of Happy Together, a very chaotic kind of gay love story. And obviously he's also in Chinese Ghost Story as well. So definitely a very, very versatile kind of actor that appears in many different types of projects. And I think something like this, my God, it slaps. It really kind of nails the performance straight away. And he does a terrific job here. He does an absolute stellar performance throughout the entire film. And he really plays with such grace and innocence. And again, a little bit of kind of naivety, and he gets a bit arrogant for his own boots later on when he gets a bit more success and he starts to get the luxuries of life with the food, dining, and then the opioid kind of drug epidemic that was going on, and getting addicted to that and squandering some friendship groups. And he has a very tough life. He's had a very struggling kind of life from the start all the way to the end. And things have happened to him, for him, against him, throughout many different points of the film, in terms of a trial, and then against the Japanese kind of invasion that happens with the Cultural Revolution. It's a very, very expressive kind of film that goes through a lot of that kind of material. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more aspects that I probably could mention. We have the other two co-stars, Gong Wen-chi and Gong Li, in the film, which are the couple, which also have a lot of interaction with Leslie Cheung's character. They are the three essential main characters of the film, and we get to explore the different decades and the intertwinable drama and back and forth between all three. And it's interesting where it goes. I think the performances are excellent across the board. There's some interesting kind of internal conflicts, and some leading up to a very bittersweet, very surprising kind of conclusion to the film, and all revolving around the main kind of stage play of Farewell, My Concubine. And it very much holds true to some of the dialogue. If you're paying attention, if you're looking to the minor kind of character kind of moments or some of the kind of key plot points of the film during the start, leads really well back into the end of the film, and it concludes in a very kind of haunting way, I would say, in some respects, a very kind of artistically satisfying kind of way, or a very tragic kind of series of circumstance. And it's an interesting kind of expression. It's a very artistic, very art house, epic 3-hour journey. And I think it's definitely one to check out for sure. Maybe it's a good companion piece with the Peking Opera Blues alongside it. In terms of the special features for Farewell My Concubine, we do get 2 main entries. We do get the brand new interview by Tony Raines, which I really love seeing Tony Raines as extras. 48-minute extra talking about the journey of that film, and he was on the set, and talks about the director, the production, what was going on during the time. And it's a really, really good, strong kind of extra. Definitely make sure you have time for it, because it is quite a lengthy one, being about nearly 15 minutes. And then we have the Making of Farewell My Concubine archival feature, which is about 22 minutes. So decent extras. As you mentioned, you do get the 4K just a separate disc by itself, and then they get the Blu-ray with the 4K transfer on Blu-ray. So that's been my thoughts and impressions on Farewell My Concubine. What do you think, guys? Please comment down below. So in the meantime, guys, I'm for reviews. Signing out.